My name's Sam Waterfall. I'm Senior Consultant with the Healthy Marketing team, and what I want to do today is give you an abbreviated version of a presentation I recently delivered at a conference in Vietnam. You see, this is actually 4 rules on how to become a winner in the fortification game. And in particular, what we're going to look at here is how this can work in emerging markets. Now, this is very much a marketeer's perspective. It's not coming at this from a medical perspective. This is how we can help people to understand products and to buy them. So what's coming up? Well, what I'm going to talk about are 4 ways that you can win with fortification, 4 rules that you need to follow. Firstly, you have to remember that it's still food. Secondly, you must fortify to boost. The third rule is that you've got to respect the market and the consumer logic. And fourthly, you have to respect your brand. So let's take a look. So who are we? The Healthy Marketing team are experts in brand positioning. We work around the world and we help position brands and innovation into markets for successful launches. In doing that, what we do is we really help our clients to solve 3 big problems. The first of those is avoiding expensive launch failures. Secondly, we help them to avoid catastrophic strategic decisions, taking their brands in the wrong directions. And finally, when a brand's already starts to decline, what we do is we help them to re-energize and reinvigorate that brand. So fortification really is what I see as a double opportunity. You can do well by doing good. And of course, we've got this view and vision, the well-known face of malnutrition, the one that we see in the news and the newspapers. But the impact is actually much more widespread than that, and indeed much closer to home, whether you live in Asia, whether you're here, back in London. Now, what I wanted to do was actually show you about a study that was actually done at Copenhagen Business School. What they did was they actually asked 8 Nobel laureates, and they asked them, if you had $75 billion to spend on causes that would help the world, what would you do? And actually 5 out of the top 10 solutions involved nutrition. Whether that was vitamin supplements for children, whether it was adding zinc or iodine to salt, whether it was actually breeding extra micronutrients into crops like sweet potatoes, fortification was at the very centre of it. You see, there's 2 key rationales for fortification. At the first level, it's about correcting diet, about making sure we have the right additives to serve and rectify a deficit to get people back to a normal level. Beyond that, there's life enhancement, supplements that are taken for benefits beyond the requirements of a normal diet. So rule number 1 is that you have to remember that it's still food and make sure that you add the pleasure. And as I tell you this, what it reminds me of is a story from Rajasthan, where they actually tried very hard, too hard it seems, to actually supply the right nutrients to the children. But in doing so, in providing the right mung beans, the right rice, the right ingredients, it was full of ingredients, but it tasted terrible, and they ended up feeding it to the cows. So you have to remember, it's still food. Remember to fortify, not just with the vitamins, but also with great taste. Second rule, you have to fortify to boost, because nobody wants a problem. So what you have to remember here, that as your consumers are becoming ever more demanding, then we have to think about these 2 rationales for fortification. We've talked about diet correction already. We've also talked about life enhancement. But there's only one of these which actually matters for your brand. You have to focus on life enhancement. You have to fortify to boost. Because you see, future problems just aren't motivators. Are you worried about your back 20 years from now? Are you afraid of a heart attack in 15 years' time? Is that really going to change your diet today? These things just aren't motivators. So what we have to look at is fortification for performance. So here, for cholesterol, rather than showing the internal workings of the body, far better to show what we can actually be living like, how we can be living life longer and more fully. If we're talking about muscle products, show the benefit. If we're talking about beauty, show that benefit as well. Now, before I introduce rules 3 and 4, I want to share a model with you. And this is the Healthy Marketing Stakeholder Model. And what it shows you is the progression across time The blue line shows you the growth of the market, the growth of sales over time. And as consumer awareness grows and as the launch goes by, the sales grow and follow the blue line. And what we see is this transition through from technology into lifestyle and into the mass market. And the dotted line that you can also see here actually shows you the price margin curve, showing us that new products and highly technical products command a higher price in the market, whereas our mass market products actually have commodity pricing. So that brings me to rule number 3, that you have to respect the market and the consumer logic. A phrase that I liked from the 86% solution was, don't build a car when you need a bullock cart. We have to do these things in the right order. So in emerging markets, there are actually 2 ways that you can develop fortification. The first starts by adding the new, and the second starts with things that are already there, the existing products in the market. So let's firstly look at the non-commodity fortification, and that follows this traditional development curve. In this particular example, we were fortifying with iron. This is a tiger bar in India by the Britannia company. And what had happened was they added a new health benefit introduced to more premium stakeholders, but soon this was demanded by all. And the tiger bar was then very much positioned to mothers who wanted the best for their children. And what's going to happen after that, the next stages, will be led by frugal innovation. How can we take this idea and deliver this benefit at low cost, bringing the benefit to the mass market? What we really see in emerging markets when we're doing non-commodity fortification is that we get a rapid development because it's driven by strong forces of democratization. People want to get the benefits wherever they are on the demand curve. But in emerging markets, there's actually fortification available from the other direction as well. It can happen in reverse. So let's take a look at the second approach. Because you see, fortification can be a trigger for adding value to your brands. Many commodities such as water, cooking oils and milk follow the innovation cycle actually from right to left. And fortification actually enables branding. It targets the mass market and it shifts the category from commodity to being brand-led. And it's progressive adding of value too, because it ultimately targets technology stakeholders through niche, high-value brands. So in this sense, fortification provides the value-conscious mass market with a rationale to pay a premium for a brand, because they get more. In this example, let's take a look at salt in India. Now it starts off, salt was just salt. And prior to 1983, it was just that commodity, low pricing and high volume. But from 1983, the government started to educate and drive awareness on the importance of getting more iodine in the diet and how that micronutrient could help. And so Tata started to brand their iodized salt. Next in came Annapurna, doing something very similar. And again, the next one was the Captain Cook brand, where we added more brand values into the story. Beyond that, we started to actually move into lifestyle. We actually taking out some of the salt, the sodium from the salt here. And ultimately, with Saffola, we started to bring in a healthy heart proposition as well. With each subsequent launch, we went further back up the curve and into more benefits and higher pricing. So that's fortifying a commodity, driving it backwards through the model. So rule number 3, you have to respect the market logic and respect the consumer logic. In essence, don't build a car when you need a bullock cart. And finally, rule number 4, you have to respect your brand. You've got to know where to play, because only doctors wear the white coats. So where does your brand play? Is it a technology player? Is it in the lifestyle? Or are you in the mass market? If you're in technology, then you must bring the science story, the medical innovation, and the technical colouring. If your brand is in lifestyle, you've got to bring new, cool, and lifestyle fit. And if your brand is in the mass market, you've got to bring fun, pleasure, and the normal. So rule number 4, respect your brand and know where you play, because only doctors can wear the white coats. So in summary, we've got 4 rules for winning with fortification. You've got to remember that it's still food. Don't forget to add the pleasure. Remember that you must fortify to boost, because nobody wants a problem. Respect market logic. Remember the bull cart before the car. And also respect your brand, because only doctors wear white coats. Fortification is a little intervention that can make a big difference. My name's Sam Waterfall. Thank you very much.